What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Welcome to episode 40 of the Daily Dose Podcast. Excuse me. 10 months of the Daily Dose Podcast. It's been a blast, guys. Learning a lot. Bear with me. My new mic didn't come in just yet. So this will be the last week I'm using this one. I'll have a new one by the end of the week. Episode 40, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. This podcast is sponsored by Jackpack LLC, 1GM Construction, and Complete Solutions LLC. Tap in with them in Albuquerque and surrounding areas. Remodel work, commercial cleaning, power washing, parking lot restriping. We offer all services. Let me know, guys. Great episode today. We're going to be giving our breakdowns for UFC 323, as well as going over a bunch of current topics. Let's get right into it, guys. First thing we're going to do, as always, this weekend we have UFC 323, the last big pay-per-view of 2025, live from T-Mobile Arena. This is pretty stacked, guys. Let's check it out and see who we got here. So we got to the second to last on the early prelims, we got Edson Barboza versus Jalen Turner. Now, Jalen Turner is coming off his retirement. That's a great fight. Obviously, Barboza being a little older, I would favor Jalen Turner even coming off a layoff. So we're going to go Jalen Turner. Probably second round submission. Then we got Marvin Vettori versus Bruno Ferreira. I'm taking Marvin Vettori. He's always kind of we know what we're going to get with him, right? He's always a dog. He pushes the pace. He's tough. One thing I've always said, in my opinion, from his first fight in the UFC to, this fight this weekend, he hasn't transformed too much. He's pretty similar. So we'll see how that goes. The other prelims, we got Macy Barber versus Karine Silva. I'm going with Macy Barber. Huge fan of her. She's had a, up and down career, but she's always been young, take the tough challenges. So shout outs to her. I'm going to go with unanimous decision. And my boy, Terrence T-Rec McKinney. We've had him on the pod before. Shout outs to T-Rec. Definitely going to go with him. Second round TKO. Then to headline the prelims, we got Grant Dawson versus Manuel Torres. I'm going with Grant Dawson. He's been looking good lately. He's been on a little bit of a streak. So I would love to see him continue that. Now on the main card, Jan Blachowicz and Bogan Gusov. I'm going with Jan Blachowicz by third round KO. Then we got Henry Cejudo versus Peyton Talbot. Now this is an interesting one. This is probably Henry's retirement fight. Obviously he has the wrestling, but Peyton is a lot taller, has a lot more length. I'm going with Peyton Talbot by unanimous decision. He's got to get this. If he loses and then Henry retires, definitely puts him in a tough position. Brandon Moreno versus Tatsu Taira. That should be a really good one. I'm going with Brandon Moreno. Always good striking from him. Always a dog. We haven't seen him for a little bit, so love to see him come back. In the co-main event, would love to see Joshua Van pull it off. In reality, we're probably going to see Alexander Pantoja with another title defense. That's just how it is. And in the main event, same thing. Would love to see Peter get a win, kind of regain that title. He's had a, good streak as of late, but nobody's beaten Merab. What people don't realize, his greatest attribute is just his cardio. The fact he can just shoot and get stuffed and scramble and everything just continuously. If you know how hard it is to wrestle, you would understand that is easily the most impressive part of his game. I'm going Merab Dvalishvili by unanimous decision. So that's going to be a great card, guys. Really, Peter's best bet is to kind of throw stuff out down the middle, keep it standing, kind of do his dirty boxing, but we'll see how it goes. Definitely going to be a good card. So we're going to get into some current topics. We had for David. Now, his case with that girl Celeste, in her body being found in one of his Teslas, was he involved? Was he not? He wasn't a suspect. He is a suspect. Now he is officially a suspect in California. There's been some pretty gruesome details. She might have been dead a lot longer before she actually was found. He had a big freezer in his house she may have been frozen in. So hopefully they figure it all out. And if it is true, good luck to you in prison, buddy. We'll see how that goes. I just wanted to address that. Now, something interesting last week, Khamzat and Jon Jones met up in person. And the one thing, obviously it wasn't a fight. It wasn't in the training room. It wasn't even serious. But something pretty funny about the video, I think Jon was shocked how strong. When Khamzat actually got a hold of him, he was like, oh shit, this dude is strong. So not that I'm saying that means anything if they were ever to fight or anything, but Khamzat is definitely a tank. So it was just funny to see kind of the reaction from Jon Jones on that. Now, YouTuber, streamer, Nelk Boy, Steve Will Do It. He appears on Impaulsive podcast, Logan Paul's podcast. Makes a little bit of an ass of himself. He was really drunk and, was just, kind of embarrassing himself. And, he comes out and says that him and Mike are supposed to be boys and he shouldn't have put it out and this and that. And two things. I totally agree. If I had someone that was, my boy on my podcast, he made a fool out of himself, probably wouldn't put it up, right? I probably just want to re-record. But you got to know in this day and age, especially at that level, a lot of these guys probably pretend to be his friend, but they just wanted the clips, and the clicks and everything like that. So he definitely made a fool of himself. He's came out and tried to defend it. I think overall he is a good guy. He was just drunk and kind of the questions weren't necessarily the greatest. Now, one thing he did, he called out Ryan Garcia, alleging that he stole his longtime girlfriend. Apparently, he was getting really friendly with her one night after Steve passed out drunk, and he left with her and stuff like that. So who knows, guys? But this guy is just, coming back with a bang. He's going to be finally dropping some YouTube videos again and, starting it right off. So we'll see how that all unfolds. Now, my boy Mike Platinum Perry, one thing, when he got in the UFC, he had like five of the night bonuses. He left the UFC and then he owed all this tax money. He was unaware that when the UFC pays him, you still have to pay taxes after the fact, right? So he fixed that, paid the money. He's had an accountant. Now, I don't know if he's just trolling or if an accountant did him wrong, but he's alleging he owes $800,000 in taxes from the Jake Paul fight. That would be absolutely just sickening. Imagine no matter how much money you have, all of a sudden somebody's like, hey, you owe $800,000 in taxes. So I hope it's not true. And you can't even say shame on him. The first time he had this issue was ignorance. This time would just be someone scamming him. So hopefully he can get it figured out and situated. That definitely sucks. He's been doing a lot of, I like his dirty boxing. Of course, he's the king of violence. So we want to see that train rolling. Now, John Pork, he was the main guy from Islam's camp that started the fight against Dillon Danis. He has been issued an arrest warrant by NYPD. Something that's very interesting. I get from the UFC, they banned Dillon Danis because they go, every time we have an incident, what's the main factor to all this? Dillon Danis. But what I find it weird is that they never ban or suspend or even bring up any of the guys that attack him and come at him. I get why they're doing it, and I get why the UFC are banning Dillon Danis, but it's very weird. I don't understand why no one else on the other side receives any type of punishment. So it's very weird. Now, Arman Sarukian isn't getting the next title shot. It comes out that Ilia Topuria is kind of having some personal issues. He's getting divorced. He's going to take a step back and handle that. And once that's all solved, he'll come back in the spring or summer. So in the meantime, Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett has been announced, and Arman and some other guys aren't happy about it. Now, the one thing you guys got to realize with Arman is he put himself at the back of the line, right? When he pulled out that day of or the day before weigh-ins because of back injury, people that are in the space and in the game, they knew that was an easy cop-out, that he was having a tough weight cut and possibly not going to make weight. So instead of doing that, he pulls out to an injury. And behind the scenes, the UFC knows that. So for them, they go, kid, you effed us. We put all this money into it. You're going the back of the line, bud. So yes, he beat Dan Hooker. That's not some crazy wow fight. He's still going to have to win another fight at least to get that title shot, guys. So we got Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. Now, the one thing about it, Paddy should win. He's younger. Gaethje's older in his career. He's still a dog. The one thing is Paddy always pulls his head back. And Gaethje, just like he did against James Vick, he will find that chin. So that would be beautiful to see Gaethje get a big shot like that. But in reality, I see Paddy Pimblett pulling off probably a unanimous decision. Now, something was funny. I saw a photo of Diddy in prison going viral, just showing him chilling with his cellmate. And it's got to be AI. I look in the background, there's a little bottle of baby oil. That shit is hilarious. He's never going to be able to live that down, and baby oil will never be viewed the same again. Now, a lot of featherweights are pretty upset that Diego Lopez versus Alexander Volkanovski 2 has been announced. One thing I will say is I definitely didn't think that was going to be the next matchup, right? I don't necessarily understand it. I could see why LaRon Murphy might be frustrated, but Aljo, just in my opinion, he hasn't earned it in the sense of, yes, he's credentialed. Yes, he's won some fights. Hasn't done anything really exciting. Hasn't blown your hair back. And same with Mozar Evolov. Like, if you're not exciting, if you're not putting on that wow factor, as we've seen in many other divisions in people's careers, you got to win 12 fights before you get a title shot. So I thought it was going to be LaRon Murphy coming off that big win over Aaron Pico, but ultimately the UFC went with Diego Lopez, probably hoping for a barn burner. It's allegedly Alexander Volkanovski's last fight, and if so, definitely going with Volk by probably, unanimous decision. I don't think he's stopping Diego Lopez, but that should be a good one. Now, UFC 324, guys. Just want to announce some of these fights real quick. One of the big ones on there, Michael Jackson versus John Cena. I wish I could put a picture of it in the corner. I saw a viral picture, and it was John Cena with the wig and Michael Jackson, and they said that was Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes. But yeah, you have the Gaethje Patty, Kayla Harrison, Amanda Nunes, Sean O'Malley, Song Yudong, Waldo Cortez Acosta, Derek Lewis, Arnold Allen, John Silva, Alexa Grasso, Rose Namajunas, Umar Nurmagomedov, Davidson Figueiredo. That card is looking absolutely stacked. That's a big fight for Sean O'Malley. Obviously a tough stylistic matchup. He's got to get that win. Kayla and Amanda, great fight. Derek Lewis, I mean, that is a good-looking card. Of course, we'll break it down as it gets a little closer. I just wanted to announce those. One thing I saw, allegedly the UFC Brazil page messed up, and they leaked that on that same card, I believe it's going to be Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira for the BMF title. Some people aren't aware. Charles was supposed to fight Max for the interim title, I believe, at 45. He only got to 48. He got stopped by Max. Although it's at 55, I think Max is just that much better at 55. I'm still going with Max Holloway, probably by third round TKO. He's just going to put it on him. Y'all must forgot Max Holloway has not gone anywhere. Now, Mauricio Ruffy versus Renato Moicano is allegedly rumored for that same card as well. That card in January is going to be stacked. That's going to be the first card on Paramount Plus. No pay-per-view. All numbered events will be on free on Paramount Plus, of course, with your monthly subscription. So lots of good fights next year that you'll be able to see without having to worry about streaming. Chris Barnett, the heavyweight from the UFC, signs with Karate Combat. Has a pretty good matchup coming up. Now, and some other fights coming up. This weekend as well in boxing, we have Isak Pitbull Cruz versus Lamont Roach Jr. That's a tough one to call. Now, Lamont obviously looked good in his last fight versus Tank, but man, Pitbull Cruz is just a bad matchup for anybody. He walks forward, he's good, he hits hard. I'm going to go with Pitbull Cruz by 10th round knockout. So reports are going around that the Saudis might be pulling out of boxing, that the Turkish sheik, and a lot of people are saying they're running out of money. It's not what it is. No matter how much money you make, these guys that are putting hundreds of millions and not getting any return are probably like, whoa, let's pump the brakes. So that is a rumor going around. Hopefully it's false, guys. If that's true and Turkish Al Sheikh pulls out of boxing, a lot of these big matchups, a lot of these big cards that have been coming together will come to a halt, right? Because basically all the money that the promotions and everybody would be losing to pay these guys the money they want, the Sheik was coming in, with all the people behind him and putting that money up. So if they stop doing that, definitely going to be a black eye, and it'll put the boxing into an interesting space because it's really been on fire. These big matchups, I don't know how they'll work it out if he does. So we'll have to see how it plays out there. Ben Whittaker had a beautiful knockout win this weekend in his style, moving and grooving, sliding around, very entertaining. Now, the very unfortunate part about being someone like that in that position, people know where you are, what city you're in. His house was burglarized during his fight. Hopefully, it didn't look like anything too major or, too major of damage was done. But, it's just a shame people are going to do that. But it's going to come with the sport and come with the spotlight. So hopefully they get it all figured out. Now, there was a video going around just the other day of Alex Pereira sparring Robelis Despaigne, the Cuban heavyweight. That was in the UFC. I believe he's in Karate Combat as well now. They were going at it. That dude is long, has some reach, and he was not taking it easy on Alex at all. He was popping him. Alex was banging back. Definitely some great sparring footage. Now, at the same time, this troll, I guess that's always been bugging Alex, calling him out, wanting to spar him. Alex absolutely knocked him out. Guys, use your brain. This dude was just some fat, regular Joe saying he could knock out Alex Pereira, this and that. And he found out the hard way. That is definitely not how it goes. So use your brain, guys. There's this funny compilation's been going around. I was thinking about doing it in my neighborhood. So basically, for porch pirates, you can order this package and you put it by your door. When the pirates grab it and run away, after like 5 seconds, it explodes and it's filled with paint. And the videos are absolutely hilarious. These people are pissed off. Their cars are ruined. Their clothes are ruined. They start cussing, yelling. It's like, hey, buddy, probably shouldn't steal, and then you wouldn't be in that position, But definitely some good content. You guys got to go check it out. I saw a video circulating of Remy Ma's current boyfriend. He was arguing with, former, not former, but famous rapper / battle rapper Cassidy. I'm a hustler. They were arguing, and Cassidy duffed him in his mouth mid-sentence. Like, he was not having that. He just cracked Buddy, sent dude on his ass. That's what happened, guys. You could yell in people's face, but just know some people will punch you in the mouth for that. Now, streamer Rakai dresses as the girl from Finding Nemo, I think, with the braces. Maybe it was Toy Story, but he got braces. He dresses up as a girl, and he's doing this live stream, right? And again, to each his own. Get your money however you want. But for me, it's like I would never sell my soul. I would never dress as a girl and just act a fool for some likes and some views. So one thing I would say, kids, don't do that. You know what I mean? You could get money just being yourself and doing your own thing. Like, he goes out of his way to do stuff that's, borderline embarrassing, but, just to get the clicks and stuff like that. So just my opinion. At the end of the day, he's not harming anybody. I'm not hating, but I think when you're getting views and stuff like that, don't muddy the waters. Stay true to yourself, and you'll get more real, authentic relationships and brands and sponsorships that way. So something sad, I saw a viral video going around. Former NBA star Sebastian Telfair goes from making $20 million into the NBA to moving back into the projects in New York. It's absolutely sad. He just didn't manage his money, didn't do the right things with it, was giving out too much money, and now he's asked out. So guys, make sure if you touch 20 million, invest 10 of that and you'll be set for life, and blow 10 and live a good life and do what you need to do. But the more money you make, start making constant cash flow and investments that help you grow forever, and you'll never be in that position. You can create generational wealth. Great episode today, guys. Episode 40. That means 10 months of the Daily Dose podcast. We're just getting started, guys. I really appreciate all the support, all the likes, subscribes. Keep running it up. We're going to have a dope channel, guys. Before we get out of here, the message of the week: the price of procrastination is the life you could have lived, guys. No what ifs, no this and that. When you're 60, 70, laying in that bed, you will regret the things you didn't go for. Even if you come up short, even if they don't pan out how you want, go for it all, guys, because in the end, you'll either have experience, memories, something to learn from, whatever it may be. Living life and trying things and shooting your shot, you will never regret. And more than likely, if you shoot enough times, you're going to make it. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Episode 40. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. If you're in Albuquerque, you need any type of remodeling, construction, commercial stuff, tap in with us, Complete Solutions LLC. We'd love to take care of it. By next week, guys, the TikTok shop will be up. We're going to have Daily Dose shirts and hats. We're going to have Pressure is Privilege shirts, hoodies. We're getting it going, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.